The Spurs just built the NBA's biggest matchup nightmare. If San Antonio keeps last season's starting group, every one of the five produced a 35-point game during the regular season. Yes, including Julian Champagnie. Who do you hide on when even the fifth option can explode without dominating the ball? But this same lineup contains two players who shot 33.2% from three. That contradiction is the real story. San Antonio may have no harmless player, but it still has one coverage opponents will try to repeat. Training camp will determine whether Champagnie or Tobias Harris occupies the fifth spot beside De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell, and Victor Wembanyama. The returning five already supplied more than theory. In 284 regular season minutes together, they scored 125.4 points and allowed 107.7 per 100 possessions, a net rating of plus 17.6. That was dominant production at both ends. More importantly, the lineup did not depend on one rigid action. It could create pressure through speed, size, shooting, movement, or a mismatch. Stop one route and another one opened. Everything begins with Wembanyama, because he changes the geometry before touching the ball. Play the pick and roll conservatively, and Fox or Castle can turn the corner while Victor rises above the back line. Switch it, and a smaller defender is attached to a target who can catch passes other centers cannot reach. Keep the big man near the rim, and Wembanyama can pop beyond the arc or drag that defender away from the basket. A normal center forces one decision. Victor forces three, and the defense still needs an answer after the first pass. Fox turns that gravity into immediate downhill pressure. His regular season average fell to 18.6 points as he spent more time away from the ball, but that did not mean his scoring disappeared. In the 18 games Wembanyama missed, Fox averaged 24.6 points, 6.2 assists, and 4.4 rebounds. His 37-point night in Portland was another reminder that he can become the primary scorer whenever the structure requires it. Against a tilted floor, his speed is not merely a weapon. It is the punishment for sending the wrong defender toward Wembanyama. That produces the first payoff. The Spurs do not need five players creating from isolation. They need five players capable of converting the advantage created by somebody else. Fox bends the first defender. Wembanyama occupies the second. Vassell can attack the next closeout. Champagnie can relocate before help recovers. Castle can cut into the space or make the connecting pass. That is why balance matters more than star power here. One player starts the problem, another finishes it, and the defense cannot predict which. It is only choosing which type of damage it is willing to accept on that possession. Castle led San Antonio in touches, time of possession, passes, and assist points created last season. His 7.4 assists per game came with a 40-point, 12-rebound, 12-assist performance that made his ceiling impossible to ignore. He can bully smaller guards, find cutters, and defend across several positions. But opponents still treated his three-point shot as the release valve. More than half of his attempts from deep were classified as wide open, and he converted 36% of those chances. He was dangerous. Defenses simply preferred that danger to everything else. That is why Castle's newest offseason update matters to this specific story. He said shooting has been a top priority, while trainer Olin Simplis described work on his pickups, gather, shot line, and rhythm off the dribble. A workout video is not proof of an NBA leap. It does, however, identify the exact pressure point San Antonio understands it must improve. If Castle becomes a shooter opponents must meet above the screen, the defender can no longer retreat toward Wembanyama. The court expands without the Spurs changing a single player. Vassell is the quiet reason that expansion becomes usable. He made 38.4% of his threes, but his value is not limited to standing in a corner. He converted 50% of his attempts from 10 to 16 feet, the best mark among San Antonio's main rotation. That gives the lineup an answer after the initial action has already been contained. Vassell can take one dribble into space, rise before the rim protector arrives, and score without needing a layup or an open three. Every balanced five needs a release valve. San Antonio's can create his own shot. Champagnie supplies a completely different form of pressure. He does not need repeated dribbles or a high usage rate to change a defense. His 38-point performance made him the first player in league history to score at least 38 without attempting a 2-point field goal. That is an extreme example, but it reveals his function. Lose track of him while loading toward Wembanyama, Fox, or Castle, and the possession can be decided before the rotation returns. The fifth option does not need to dominate. He only needs one defender to believe helping is safe. The defensive structure is just as important. Castle can take the primary perimeter creator. Vassell can use his 6'10" wingspan on the next wing, and Wembanyama waits behind both. Fox can conserve energy on the least demanding guard assignment, while Champagnie handles team responsibilities, rebounds, and keeps the shell connected. No lineup is literally attack-proof, but San Antonio does not have to sacrifice an offensive player just to place a specialist on the floor. Its best defenders are also central parts of the offense. Now the argument needs its real complication. Calling the group without a weak link goes too far. Fox and Castle both made 33.2% of their threes. A defense can place its two least mobile perimeter defenders on them, go under selected screens, and shrink the floor toward Wembanyama. Castle also committed more turnovers than his usage would normally predict, a problem that intensified under postseason pressure. The Spurs have 5 capable scorers, but capability is not the same as perfect spacing. Smart opponents will test that difference possession after possession. There is another trade-off at power forward. Champagnie creates maximum movement and gravity, but he is not a self-creator opponents fear in isolation, and stronger forwards can force San Antonio to spend extra help on the glass or in the post. Harris changes that equation. He generated more than a third of his own baskets last season, and his 136 post possessions ranked 19th in the league, the same total as Wembanyama. Switch a smaller defender onto him, and Harris can turn what was supposed to be a defensive solution into a post mismatch. Harris also ranked in the 79th percentile as a post defender, according to synergy data cited by Pounding the Rock. That gives Mitch Johnson a natural answer against heavy power forwards, instead of asking a smaller wing to survive through effort alone. But Harris is not a universal upgrade. Smaller guards can involve him in ball screens, and opponents were willing to leave him open during stretches of the postseason. Starting him adds strength and individual creation. Starting Champagnie preserves more movement and shooting gravity. San Antonio is choosing the weakness it wants the opponent to see. And that is where this lineup becomes more difficult than a simple ranking of 5 names. Drop coverage invites Fox's speed and Wembanyama's vertical game. Switching creates post mismatches for Victor, Castle, or Harris. Aggressive help releases Vassell into the middle of the floor. Packing the paint leaves Champagnie on the perimeter. Going under screens is the most logical response, but it places the entire plan on Fox and Castle failing to convert shots they are openly training to improve. Every coverage has a reasonable purpose. None arrives without a cost. The consequence for San Antonio is tactical freedom. Mitch Johnson does not need to declare one version of the lineup perfect for all 82 games. Against speed, Champagnie's movement can stretch rotations and keep the floor open. Against strength, Harris can absorb the physical matchup and punish switches. If an opponent hides a weak defender, the Spurs can use that player's assignment as the screener and force him back into the action. The fifth starter can change, but the central problem remains. Wembanyama, Fox, Castle, and Vassell offer too many ways to initiate and finish the same possession. So, did the Spurs build the NBA's biggest matchup nightmare? They built one of the strongest cases. The evidence is not simply that all 5 returning starters once scored 35. It is that they produced a plus 17.6 net rating while filling different jobs, and San Antonio added a veteran who can replace one job with another. The claim is not fully proven until Fox and Castle make defenses respect them away from the paint. That is the lever capable of turning a balanced lineup into an unsolvable one. The final verdict is this. San Antonio does have a weakness opponents can test, but it may no longer have a player they can ignore. That distinction matters. A weak shooter can improve. A limited roster slot is much harder to repair. The Spurs can attack with speed, height, pull-up shooting, movement, or power, then defend with Castle at the point and Wembanyama behind him. opponents will make a choice. San Antonio's advantage is having a different punishment ready for nearly every answer. For a closer look at why Champagnie may still be the best default fifth starter, watch our full breakdown of his fit next to Wembanyama.